katika msafara wako ulikuwa umekutana na mchumba mtarajiwa?
You shall hit record. Oh my god. So, good afternoon. You'll tell us your name and your name, your field of specialization, vitu kama hizo. So, welcome to Advance Television.
Okay, thank you. My name is Brian Odhiambo Kisinja. I'm a graduate engineer. The field is civil engineering.
Yes, so maybe you expound to us, maybe for future reference, what is civil engineering?
Civil engineering. Okay, as we all know it, engineering is so wide. So civil engineering is one of the branches of engineering. Majorly deals in structures, highway, water, and wastewater treatment. Yeah, that's what we do.
So you've done things to do with water. We have a lot of people here. Some of them will be having issues to do with water installations in their houses, and all that you've mentioned. We hope to tag you along someday. So thank you and welcome once more. So right to our very first question. So what can you say about the soil being poured on our tarmac roads in the name of speed bumps?
Okay, what can say about the soil being poured on our highways? Those are not speed bumps. That's something else. They're neither the bumps or the humps. You know, we have the bumps and the humps. They're neither bumps or humps. And as you know it, like the bumps are designed to lower like the car speed from a speed of 8 kilometers per hour to a speed of 8 kilometers per hour to 16 kilometers per hour. And the humps lowers the speed to 24 kilometers per hour and 32 kilometers per hour. So both humps and the bumps, they have specific dimensions and shapes. And this is something that we find that the people pouring the soil on the roads in the name of the bumps, they never take these ones into account. So those are basically heaps of soils on our highways. They're never bumps. And they have a number of effects on the road. One of them being that you find that most of the time, they're just randomly placed on the roads. There are no road signs telling you bumps ahead or something. So there's nothing. So as a motorist or as a driver, you're driving, then suddenly you come across a heap of soil on the road. So you end up causing an accident instead of reducing the accident, the intention that for which they were installed for. You end up now doing the opposite. And another disadvantage that they have on the road is that, like we all know it, the soil that is placed on the road, when it rains, it will harbor water. And from transportation engineering, you know that water is the major enemy of highways. So water is an enemy to the pavement, especially the flexible pavement, that's the asphalt or the bitumen pavement that we normally have in the country. And when water gets into contact with the pavement, it will lead to what we call, there's that separation between the aggregate and the bitumen. You get? Yeah. Once that separation occurs, then it will result into shoving, and consequently it will lead to formation of the potholes. So you'll find that where we have this, where we normally have the heaps of soil, potholes will soon develop.
Thank you.
Just to add two more, another disadvantage is that they will always, being that the dimensions and the shapes are not taken into account, they will lead to what we call the misalignment of the wheels, and this one will lead to what we call the damage of the steering humps. Yeah. And another disadvantage is that, whenever you come across a bump or a hump, you have to decelerate, yeah? And the moment you cross it, you have to accelerate. So that deceleration and acceleration leads to what we call impact. and the impact as what you call the stresses and the strains on your flexible pavement. So this one again is a deteriorating factor on our highways.
Oh, nice. Thank you. You mentioned something there, the asphalt.
Yeah.
We've only seen asphalt in our laptops trying to play games and so on and so forth. So maybe before we proceed, expound on asphalt.
How can I explain it? Okay, asphalt is a term used majorly by American society, ASHTO, but as a country, let's say Kenya, we normally use the British standards, or rather the British codes. So for British code, they call it bitumen.
Oh,
Ni ile kitu mnaita lami, hiyo ya black.
Yeah.
Actually mnaitanga tarmac, but it is called bitumen. Yeah.
And in US it's called
asphalt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us know about that. It seems like that game originated from USA, right?
Okay.
So what do you feel? What do you feel should be done instead in this era where now everyone, especially the motorists or the motorcyclists, they've become road engineers. So what do you feel should be done instead?
Okay, having highlighted the challenges that come about as a result of the soil being poured on the highways, I think it is prudent to, road construction as a process is it is a systematic process. It starts from the conception of the idea of construction, to the planning, to the design, to the construction itself, to the operation, and finally, even after the operation, there are maintenance practices that are to be carried out on our highways. So I think during the planning phase, I think it should encompass the areas, let me say the areas that really need the bumps, the speed bumps. Like during the planning, the planners must have ideas on places that really require the bumps, so that they had to be constructed during the initial construction of the highway, not to come later. And even if the need may arise for a speed bump later after the construction of highway, I think the locals should liaise with the road construction authority to carry out the construction of the bump, so that it can be carried out with the uttermost professionalism. You get, because those people will do it professionally, yeah, and like the locals will just how they do it.
Thank you. And earlier on you mentioned something to do with the size of the bumps.
Yeah.
And maybe to just make it clear to us, what should be the ideal size of a road bump?
Okay, the ideal size of a road bump should be about the height of the bump should be about 76 to 90 millimeters. That's not the height. And then the traveling length should be about 3.7 meters to 4.3 meters. That should be there. Okay, those are the dimensions that most agencies implement.
Thank you. And how about the distance between one bump to the other? Because again, if I go back to my village right now, you'll find a situation where there is you call them heaps of soil.
Yeah,
it's a heap of soil somewhere here. Then before you go so long, there's another, not even long. Let me say, before you forget that you've just crossed a bump, there's another bump, and then before you forget that one, there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. Maybe.
Ideally, the spacing between the speed bumps should be not more than 500 feet. That is for you to achieve the 85th percentile of speed. That's the speed of about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Yeah. So the spacing should not be more than 500 feet apart.
how about areas where there are black spots? Because in our village again, the example I've just given you,
Yeah.
there's an accident that occurred there. Then the villagers with their furiosity
Mm.
came there with a lot of anger, trying to to solve the situation by heaping soil everywhere, claiming that they are now solving the situation.
Actually, you find that okay when you come to accident, that's actually some a broader topic. Like it's really broad. Like it doesn't mean that most accidents occur due to there are various causes of accident. So just bringing in heap of soil in the name of bump, that one sometimes may not end up solving the problem. You might find that an accident happened because of the road alignment. Maybe there was some error in the design of the road. So there's a way in which the super elevation of the road is not in order, stuff like that. So one thing that I know about the locals, okay, being that they're not so much informed, like they don't have the know-how, the technical know-how about the highways like we engineers do. So the first thing, an accident occurs, and then the first thing that comes to their mind, it is due to overspeeding, and one way to resolve the overspeeding is through installation of a bump. But sometimes it's not overspeeding. Sometimes, accident normally occurs as a result of conflict. Sometimes there's a conflict between the motorized traffic and the non-motorized traffic. That is the pedestrian and the vehicle. And sometimes you might find that the person at fault is actually the pedestrian. It's not the motorist. So I don't think that actually about accident and the black spot, that's actually a whole different topic. Yeah, which kind of different from what you're tackling right now.
Thank you so much for clarifying that one. So again, there are those who are there are people who we should then contact for them to help us in this issue of the ramp or the bump installation. So who are responsible for this in Kenya?
Like in Kenya, actually, during a road construction process, there are the skilled personnel who are actually carrying out the road construction. So it might be KERA or it might be KENHA. So it is them that are responsible for the installation of the bumps, KENHA or KURA, or even the Kenya Roads Authority, KRA.
So maybe to our next question, which places along the highway should the road construction authorities consider mostly when placing the bumps?
Okay, when placing the bumps, generally they are placed on local residential street, and other areas of consideration is where the pedestrians and the vehicles share the spaces equally. Yeah, unaona mali pedestrians wako wengi na pia magari pia ziko mingi, so yeah, you should consider putting humps or bumps at those places so as to slow down the speed of the vehicles and to avoid accidents from occurring.
Okay, thank you so much. So should we also have bumps within our cities and towns? Maybe.
Yes, I think like I said, residential local streets, some of them are found within the cities and towns. So yeah, we could still install them on our cities and towns, and even on the super highways like thicker super highways. We have a number of them, a number of humps. Yeah, zile za not necessarily, like I said, there's a difference between a bump and a hump in when it comes to the level to which they slow down the car. So bumps actually will reduce the speed to a lower speed, like 8 to 16, but the humps, okay, kuna zile zenye ukiwa Thika super highway you really feel them like zimepangana hivi mingi, and then they're not so big, ziko tu hapo chini. Yeah, those are not the humps. So yeah, you find that they're there in the towns, and at the same time they're there in the cities.
In the cities. And how about the ramps? Are they the ramps? Because I think I'm the one who's been mistaking the hump
No,
in the ramp.
ramp you majorly found them in the parking lots. Those are the ramps. Yeah.
Thank you. So, like our the recently constructed, how is it called?
Expressway.
Expressway.
Yeah.
So, should we expect some road bumps
And
on the expressway now that there are no people, there are no pedestrians crossing the road there are no there's no we learned that there shouldn't be any traffic.
like we said, from what we said, like where the pedestrians and the vehicle equally share a space, you need to install a bump or a ramp or a hump. But on the expressway, it's specific for the what? It's meant for the motorized traffic, the MT. That's just the vehicles alone. So they're not there.
Oh, thank you so much. So maybe someday I'll take a visit with my own car on that very newly constructed road. So maybe my colleagues, do you have any question as far as bumps are concerned?
Yes, there's a point he mentioned the formation of a pothole. Lakini unaweza rudia tu pole then juu nimesikia Greek hapo. But it's a very good.
Okay, formation of the potholes, like what I said, like the soil that they use in the construction of the basically the heap of soil that they normally place on the road. It's just soil. So when it rains, like the soil will harbor water, itabeba maji, and then maji, there's what we call stripping. Actually, one of the worst enemy to a pavement is water, because we try so hard that water may not enter a pavement, because water has what you call stripping effect. So the stripping effect, there's a point whereby the aggregate that a bitumen is basically a binder, inashikanisha hizo ma aggregates zinatumika kwa barabara. So the moment water comes in, that binding effect inaisha, it strips the aggregates from the binder, and the traffic moves along the road, inakuja. So the moment the aggregate imetokana kwa binder, imeachanishwa hivyo, it will eventually come off when the traffic moves on the road. Therefore, potholes zitaanza kuform.
Because they'll be experiencing the pressure from the cars.
True.
And now
the pneumatic pressure from the tires.
Oh, thank you. So maybe you mentioned this, but maybe you again clarify it further. The effects of now that the potholes have been formed, the side effects apart from the steering wheel that you mentioned earlier, what are the side effects that may be caused as a result of the potholes that were
okay as a result of our potholes, like when we're designing for, generally a road has like most of our paved roads here are a flexible pavement. They have like around 4 layers. That is the surface. We have what you call the base, we have the sub-base, and we have the subgrade. Subgrade, that's now the compacted earth below the pavement. And then now, the formation of the potholes will form on the surfacing. And when it forms on the surfacing, one of the good qualities of the surface is that a surfacing should provide a smooth and uniform rideability. So the moment you have the potholes on your roads, that smooth and uniform rideability is no longer there. there's this comfort to the drivers. Yeah, unafika huko gari in a jump juu, like you get.
Yeah.
So the comfort is not there, and comfort of the driver, that's one of the costs. So actually it's a cost. So when you come to do what we call the cost benefit analysis of your road, we have what you call the travel time. The moment you have potholes on your roads, like you have to slow down as you maneuver the potholes, the travel time is in turn increased, and that's also a cost on when you're doing your cost benefit analysis, that's a negative, like the increase in the travel cost and all that, things to do with the comfortability of the driver and the passengers. Yeah, that's also a negative effect.
And I thought you'd mention something to do with fuel. Now that
like I told you, there are a number of effects. Some I might not know of, but there are a number of effects, a lot of them.
And I don't know whether this could be within the scope of practice,
Yeah.
but are there policies that regulate on how bumps and
Humps.
should be constructed along the road?
Yeah, like there are policies.
Okay.
Mhm.
Please take us through summary.
In summary, okay, the policies that are there are basically in terms of dimension. Like I said, I gave an example with the bumps. The bumps should have a dimension, like the height of the bump should be about 76 millimeters to 92 millimeters. And then the traveling length. Yeah, actually, generally, how can I put this? The bumps, they're not just heap of soils zenye zimewekwa hapo.
Yeah.
They should start from at some distance. Kuna venye inafaa kwa, like the vehicle will move on top of it some distance and then it leaves it. So that's what we call now the traveling length. The traveling length should be about 3.7 meters to 4.3 meters. So that's how the bumps should be. Ideally, they should be placed, not just a small heap at some concentrated at a point. No, inafaa kwanza at some distance, then you move over it and you leave it. Yeah.
And does this apply to all roads? Because I remember we have highways, we have avenues, and so on. So does this apply to all roads? It applies differently?
I think it applies different because we have the different classes of roads from class A to class A. So each road, they have like the guiding principles, they vary from the various classes of roads that we have. Yeah. You're welcome.
I have one question.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on bumps ama humps on like blind spots ama the sharp corners kwa highway ama barabara?
Okay, I think my thought about the kwa umesema?
Black spots. Ni kama black spots.
Mm.
Okay, black spots. I think they should be there. The moment that a place is marked black spot, so kumaanisha there's just something about the frequency of accident occurring at that place. So if installing the bumps and humps at that place will help regulate the number of accidents occurring there, why not? Yeah.
So maybe my final question. I've seen this time that I was in Embu,
Uh-huh.
and I was seeing a lot of people, the motorcyclists, they were avoiding the bumps. Instead, now they were riding along the path where now the pedestrians should be walking along, and now they were coming here to compete with the pedestrians along their path, leaving their own highway because it has bumps. So what's your take on, or maybe which policy should guide the motorists, because they are really having some uncouth behaviors along the highways. You find when they evade their highways coming to compete with us on the path, they might cause some accidents.
True.
So what should be put in place to avoid this maybe in the future?
Actually, when it comes to motorcyclists, there's a saying that goes that the motorcyclists are actually a menace on our roads. And as far as I remember, there are policies. It's only that these people are not following the policies that have been put in place. The moment that you leave the carriageway, as a motorized traffic, you should be using the carriageway, not coming to the pedestrians walkway. So I think that's just carelessness on their side. So maybe, being that the policies are already in place, maybe we as a country, or rather the enforcing authorities, that will leave to the enforcing authorities to actually just enforce the policies that are already in place. And if it means imposing penalties on the motorcyclists, then be it so.
Thank you very much, Brian Kissinger, Engineer Brian Kissinger,
Yeah.
for creating your time to answer various questions. And we hope to engage you a lot more in future after now you've practiced in the field for quite some time. And maybe your parting shot.
No, actually, thank you so much for having given me time to share whatever I know pertaining the highways, and I really appreciate the moment that you've given me. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hey, bana, ipenja